Move over, kids, because I just found out a funny little tidbit. There's actually a National Video Game Day. Yeah, it's September 12th. And if you're not watching this on September 12th, mark it on your calendar. Don't worry, I'm not just going to talk about that. But if you are, happy National Video Game Day. What I am going to talk about, though, is just a trip down memory lane. For whatever reason, the news of a National Video Game Day made me start thinking of all of the years that I have been playing video games, and it's been a lot. I'm 38 years old. I probably started when I was 5, so that is literally 33 years of playing video games. I played Atari all the way to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I haven't played everything. Like, I never played the TurboGrafx 16 and whatnot, but Nintendo has been my core family of consoles that I've really just invested a lot of time and money in. And I'm going to give you just little experiences that, for whatever reason, they are what pop into my mind whenever I look back at my history of video gaming. Just give you a little peek behind the curtain of this crazy brain of mine. So I'll start off with the Nintendo. A couple things I remember about the Nintendo. I remember that robot, Rob the Robot. I had one of those, actually. We got a Rob the Robot, and I remember just not being able to figure out that game whatsoever. I just could not figure out what to do. It was just like, so, what is going on? Maybe I was too young. Maybe there's people out there who think that was the best game of all time, but to me, it was just confusing as heck. But what really stands out, I just remember the Mega Man games were extremely hard. I would get so stressed out playing those games because they were so hard, and I had to rent. We actually rented our video games from a store like Blockbusters. That think about a physical Netflix. Well, that's what Blockbuster was. I had to rent video games from them, take the physical cart home, and I'd get 3 to 6 days, depending on how much I paid, to beat this game. So you're playing it all the time, and man, I had the most difficult times. I was never the best with platformers, and some reason I just kept playing Mega Man. Game had to be back by 8 p.m. that night, and here I am at 6 p.m. with still 2 bosses to go. Also, the first Zelda game, having to actually draw a map with actual pencil and actual paper and creating this huge physical map because that was like one of the first open world type games where it was just huge, and if you didn't make your map, you would get lost, and it was really cool. It made you feel like an actual adventurer. For Super Nintendo, I don't know why this is. It's a little weird, but the thing that stands out to me the most after all these years is the rain in Link to the Past. When the game opens up, spoiler alert, there's rain in Link to the Past. When the game opens up, there's not some dude in a cave that says, here, take this. There's just your uncle is like, I gotta go help the princess. And then you kind of wake up and your uncle's gone, everybody's gone. You hear a voice, I believe. It's been a long time since I played Link to the Past, so I might be getting some of the details wrong. Give me a break here. But when I got out into the actual world, when I left my house, and there weren't any houses in the first one, so when you leave your house, it's raining, it's dark, you hear the music, you hear the splashes. It was just this, like, it was the things you loved about the first Zelda game, but it was like vastly improved. The graphics, the colors, the sound, the storytelling. It was just an amazing, it was, like I said, it was everything I loved from the first Zelda, which I absolutely adored. And then they made it better. They just times it by 100, and it was crazy. I was just blown away by the rain in the version in the Super Nintendo. I actually played the Virtual Boy for 5 minutes when it first came out. It was just the weirdest concept. My cousin had every system. I put my head in, I tried to play. I just remember thinking, wow, that is the oddest thing ever. And that was pretty much my experience with the Virtual Boy. With the N64, Mario Kart 64 Battle Mode was it. Nintendo has never been able to repeat the Battle Mode experience that I felt that you could do with 4 players in the N64. But what really got to me, though, was Shadows of the Empire. I look back and I remember I associate with the N64, and I know Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, great games. I loved them. My mind was blown with Ocarina of Time, but it's Shadows of the Empire. This is a game that took place between Star Wars Episode 5 and Star Wars Episode 6, when the bounty hunter Boba Fett is taking Han Solo in Carbonite to Jabba the Hutt. And this no longer exists now that the House of Mouse owns Star Wars, but at the time it was actually considered canon. And I got this game for Christmas, and it's kind of like, probably more of like an adventure game, and there wasn't that many things to choose from when the N64 came out, and so this was a game that my parents just said, hey, have it for Christmas. I played it, and to my surprise, I actually enjoyed it, but the thing that really I remember from it, at the end of one level, there's this boss battle, and it's from this robot android called IG-88. And I actually had this toy as a kid, IG-88, but look at that toy. He doesn't look like anything special. He kind of looks like this just goofball whatever. I didn't realize he was this insanely tough bounty hunter, and so I would play with that IG-88 as if he was more of like C-3PO, just a whatever character that was like, ooh, I must disagree with you, princess. And yet, when I had to face IG-88, it was like, I was like the dude, he was like Jason from Friday the 13th. The dude would just pop up and you're like, oh yeah! And it was just this crazy intense battle with someone who all these years I thought was a nobody throwaway character who was pretty much nothing, just a weakling, a putz, and yet here I am just like getting scared out of my boots because IG-88 is coming at me in the scrapyard. GameCube had Wind Waker. Wind Waker just blew my mind with the graphics, but actually the thing that I fondly remember about the GameCube era is the party mode, the local co-op. This was a time when I was in my 20s and I lived with like 4 dudes and we were like the party house on the street, and everyone would come over and we would play Smash Brothers, we would play Double Dash. It would be Friday, Saturday night, and we would just be playing all the time. One time we were playing Mario Party. We had just gotten Mario Party, just discovered it, Mario Party 4, and we were playing non-stop. Literally 24 hours, somebody was playing. You might be thinking I'm exaggerating, 24 hours. No, I'm serious. 2 dudes, it was Christmas vacation, 2 dudes stayed up playing Mario Party. I'm like, guys, I gotta go to work. Have you been playing all night? And they were just bloodshot. Yeah. When are you gonna quit? They're like, we don't know. And it was just hilarious to me. But then we would, every single moment, our free time on Mario Party 4, to the point that one time a friend actually called us up and was like, hey, we're gonna have a real party. Come on over. And we all just looked at each other, and the people on the other end, they knew what we were thinking. They were like, you can bring Mario Party. And so we did it. Okay, we grabbed all the cords, all the controllers, and we bundled up the GameCube and went to this party. We plugged it in and we just started playing, and we ignored the entire party. And eventually, though, people started coming over and watching us play, and suddenly we had to rotate in and out, and that party became a Mario Party, and they said to us, we're never inviting you over again. That was a joke, but they would never allow us to bring our GameCube over again. Then there was the Wii. The Wii had a lot of good memories. I really enjoyed the Wii the first couple years. There was a moment when I went to my sister's house because my parents were visiting, and I played with my nephew, who at the time was like 5 or 6. Then there was me, and then there was my mom, who's from Thailand, straight off the boat, you know. I mean, straight off the boat 30 years ago, but she still has that mentality of a foreigner. And here we are, just, you know, bowling and hitting the tennis racket and just having so much fun. There was 3 generations right there of people who you don't think could play a video game together. We were doing it, and it was just a phenomenal good time. And my mom even won, and I realized where I got my smack talk from, my ability to smack talk, because man, I didn't realize that she could smack talk as good as she was. And it was just a great experience. Wii Sports, awesome, phenomenal game that will not get the credit it deserves as time goes on. The Wii U is the system that got me back into video games, because when the Wii, towards the tail end, the Wii died and I kind of moved on. I got out of the house with all of my friends. I had to get the real job. I ended up getting married, and it was just like things happened. And then I moved away to Texas, and I had no friends, so I decided to get back into video gaming, and it was the Wii U that actually did it for me. The Wii U was the system was out. I saw that Wind Waker bundle. I was like, ooh, now's the time. I got back into it. And well, that's where my next phase, this phase actually, that the person you're seeing now is actually a product of the Wii U era. And then the Switch obviously came out, and it's present. The Switch is actually present when you're watching this video, but Breath of the Wild made me fall in love with Zelda all over again. I didn't realize that I had fallen out of love with Zelda, or maybe I got complacent, but it was when I booted up Breath of the Wild on my Nintendo Switch all over again. And watching my kids actually now be old enough to enjoy the experience of me playing it, that's what I'm getting out of the Switch right now. Just playing it, enjoying video games for the first time in a long time, and my kids actually enjoying it with me, to the point that I enjoy it so much, I started up a YouTube channel, and this is where I'm at. I left the handhelds out really on purpose because I don't have too many really fond memories with them. I owned every handheld. I've enjoyed every handheld. I've loved every handheld, but I don't have a moment with any, with the exception of maybe the Game Boy. I played Tetris on the original Game Boy for many, many years after the Game Boy, quote unquote, died. The DS was out, and I was still playing Tetris on the Game Boy, and I got 356 lines one time, and I was showing everybody. I was so proud because I was doing Tetrises, and it was just a really cool experience. So it is dangerous to go alone, people. Tell me some of your fun game memories. Pick a system, and then tell me a great memory you have with that system. I would love to know. And again, happy National Game Day if you're watching this on the 12th. And if not, mark your calendar. It's dangerous to go alone. Please share this video with a friend and have a great day.